The Waffle is without a doubt one of the best tier 9 tank destroyers in the game, if not one of the best tank destroyers in the game, period. And that's just because it is very flexible as far as tank destroyers go. And being tier 9, it means you're balanced to deal with tier 10s, which also means you absolutely slaughter tier 8s. So it's in that golden tier, in my opinion, where you're just very effective tier for tier, regardless if you're up tiered or down tiered. So a lot of players like the Waffle. In fact, I think it is one of the most popular tank destroyers in the game, and most players like to play it as kind of a sniping vehicle, and that is fine. It is designed to snipe and, you know, sit at the back of the map. That is the ideal situation for a Waffle. But if you want to increase that kind of average damage and you're feeling a little bit more daring, then it's always a good idea to know how to play the Waffle second or frontline support roles. And if you do that, the value of that kind of playstyle where you're not always sitting at the back of the map is you're creating opportunities to deal damage. You're not dependent on your team to spot for you. You're not dependent on the enemy team to pull in front of you. Instead, all you have to make sure is you kind of have those meat shields, you're putting yourself in the right position, and you're creating opportunities to farm damage. And if you kind of master that idea of Waffle gameplay, then your average damage and probably win rate will increase drastically in this vehicle. It certainly has for me in this kind of playstyle for the Waffle. So that's what I'm going to be showing in today's video. We're going to play 3 live games in the Waffle just to kind of demonstrate how I play it, and generally speaking how I try and play it more second frontline support. That is a very key difference. Now, some maps, sniping is really the best option. Castilla, Canal, Dead Rail, these are all maps where I think, like, without a doubt, sniping is the best plan of action for a Waffle. And if I'm honest with you, a map like Hellas is also really ideal for sniping Waffle. So I'm just going to start this match off by kind of looking at the lineup. Okay, my team has a single medium tank. The enemy team has 3 meds. They also have a decent amount of holding heavies, whereas my team only has, I think, tier 9s. Well, we do have a super conk. Looks like my team is pushing up towards the right hand side. And I know I said, okay, I don't want to snipe too often, but some maps, this is one of them. Sniping sometimes is the best option, especially just off the start. All I'm doing right now is I'm trying to see, can I get an early shot or 2 off? And especially, what on earth is the enemy team doing? And once we figure out, hey, this is what the enemy team is doing, that will leave me much more free to kind of push up and be aggressive. Now, looks like the enemy team are actually being quite aggressive here themselves. There is a T30. Let's put a shot towards him. And I know I'm kind of pushing up a little bit more aggressive here, and it looks like the majority of the enemy team are just kind of chilling it out in their spawn. I think they're actually kind of stuck in their spawn, which is good. That means they're going to be pretty easy to take out in that kind of positioning because we'll be able to surround them as a team. So I'm just going to kind of push down the mid here. Looks like we have an IS-8 here. Can we HE him? Theoretically, yes, but it's not safe enough. We're just going to shoot an AP at him. I did activate the reticle calibration. That was because I was going to shoot HE, but I decided not to. It was safer not to, but you know what? Can be HE'd, Z-bat shots. So we're gonna put a nice HE into this bat shot, and right away, you can see how many shots I'm getting off here. Most Waffle would still be in the back. They would not be getting these shots, but by playing my Waffle more aggressive, I'm pushing myself into a position where I'm shooting practically on the reload, and we've already dealt 3,000 damage. And this is what I mean. Know your positioning, know when you can push up safely, and when you learn that kind of playstyle on the Waffle, your average damage will go up drastically as we get a nice HE into the Centurion. And the reason I feel safe pushing here is I know I have the super conk here and my whole team behind me. I cannot get YOLO'd. And if the enemy team does try and YOLO me, it's definitely not going to go well for them. Now, unfortunately, it looks like our super conk's going for a little YOLO here. We are going to put a shot into the Jagdpanzer before he hopefully doesn't shoot at me, because there is a Progetto here. I am in a bit of a tight position still, so we're going to take it easy for now, but it looks like, yeah, the Yag's going to go down in just a moment. Excellent news for me. And I think what I'm going to do here is see if I can try and push in and create a bit of a crossfire in this Progetto, who I believe is pushing down below. Let's see if it gives me a side. Oh, unfortunate. I thought he was going to back up a little bit more there. Let's just push away from the Progetto. There we go. And we are now out of range from him. Now, there is an IS-7 who went through encounter, so we know he's in the mid there. We're going to keep an eye out for him. The Progetto hopefully will go down soon. Let's wait for this IS-7. I'm not exactly sure where the IS-7 went. Hello, IS-7? Where are you? I would think he's around the area somewhere. But for the most part, this was a great example of what I was talking about when I said playing your Waffle as more of a second line support tank can work really well. That's what I did this game. I could have sat on that hill all game and just waited for shots, but I didn't. Instead, I pushed up. I knew I had support in the form of the Conqueror meat shield. Like I said, have those meat shields, very helpful. And of course, my whole team was kind of just spread out behind me, so that just left me very free to kind of push in and take shots on tanks that weren't looking at me. And because we were able to do that, we did pull very easily 5,000 damage out of this game. Now, I'm not sure exactly where on earth this I-7 has wandered off to. I figured he probably went into our spawn, so he's definitely went on a bit of an adventure over here. I think he might have even lagged out, judging by his positioning, or he just backed into the corner to try and put up a last stand. So let's pick up a kill on this IS-7 here. It looks like he has gone for the last stand in the corner, but that's an interesting play by yours truly here. We should be able to get a nice shot on the lower plate, nice little 800 max roll there, and he's definitely going to go down before I can even get a reload off. So, GG. 5,700 damage for the first game. I think this was a great example of just what the Waffenträger is capable of. And sure, other tank destroyers can do it, but the T-30's gun is nowhere near as nice. Its mobility is nowhere near as nice as well. DPM isn't as good as well. So like that's why I feel like this tank is great, is because if you know how to utilize tanks like this Conqueror, who only did 3 shots, mind you, but he was so useful to me there because he was the one that took the attention of the enemy team, and by having him as that kind of meat shield, that allowed me to push up behind him and just farm out damage. And it is quite simple. Just do that in your Waffenträger on maps instead of just sitting back every single game. And if you know how to do it right, you have enough situational awareness and of course the mechanical abilities and basic skill sets, you're going to perform really well on your Waffenträger that way. So we're going to jump into another match. Now, it is Canyon. Once again, generally speaking, a fairly sniping map. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to push up with the heavies once more. And the reason I'm sticking with the heavies is heavies are great meat shields, guys. They're very good at taking shots. Going mid is not a great idea. I don't have the armor or the view range to do that, right? I would get bonked on by their tank destroyers probably sitting in spawn. But by kind of pushing up left here, that will give me the opportunity to be a little bit more aggro down this lane and hopefully farm up any kind of heavy tanks they may or may not send this way. Now, their T-98 went for a complete sicko spotting run here. Let's put a shot towards his tank there. Oh, that shot went a little low. And it looks like most of the enemy forces have indeed come up this way. That actually is a bit of a surprise for me. Definitely was not expecting that, but it's not an unpleasant surprise. Now we do get shot there from that bush there, so we're gonna take a blind shot. The shot goes way too low, so not the best shot, but not the best start to this game. But what I'm going to do here now is kind of push up second line, and we're gonna see if we can get a shot off on maybe one of these tank destroyers here, who are not really paying attention to me. So let's put a kill shot into this SU, just taking his gun out of the game there. Not a bad start. Enemy team have tanks in the mid, and we're just gonna play the peekaboo roll. This is more town gameplay for the Waffenträger, and it's not my favorite situation to be in, but the Foss just got absolutely hammered here, so we should be able to put a nice kill shot into him as well. And we've been holding this position okay. I'm gonna push up to the middle now. This should give me shots on the AMX in just a moment. We're just gonna kind of sit back away from him. I'm gonna activate my accuracy control, that way I can just snapshot his turret. The gun says no. That does happen sometimes. A little unfortunate because I just traded a 0 for 1 shot there, which is not ideal, but this AMX is kind of stuck here. So let's just pull forward again. We're just gonna put another shell into him. Unfortunately, we take another shot, but I had to pull up there. I didn't want that Ti-2 to shoot me from behind. And we also see the Waffenträger is sitting in their spawn. Okay, that's not too bad. Let's see if we can get a shot onto this low. Our accuracy conceal will still activate. We get a nice little shell into him, and we're just kind of working this mid line. Now, I'm not going to poke here again because that Waffenträger will expect me to be there, and he's probably going to be pre-aimed. Instead, let's prepare ourselves for this M3 Yo, who might pull out in front of me in just a moment. We're waiting for him. Come on, you can pull forward just a little bit. He's not pulling out, guys. This is unfortunate, but I think the Waffenträger has just fired. Or you know what? He might actually be giving me a shot here. Let's take a blind shot. That one does go in. I really hope that HE pen there, and hopefully he didn't have a spall liner. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. So Waffenträger is distracted. We're going to start pushing in on this Yo. I think that's probably a good idea. He is also distracted and kind of clipping at the moment. I don't want to overextend here, so I can pull back. Let's put a nice 800 max roll into him. That means we did hit that Waffle. And you know, this wasn't the best start to the game. It definitely was kind of unfortunate that I missed my first couple shots there, and I took a couple shots at the start, but we managed to work it down. And we just had to play patient kind of town gameplay. This wasn't the most exciting game, and you know, I just had to kind of sit back and wait for my opportunities. But the nice thing about being in a tank destroyer with so much alpha damage is it doesn't matter, you know, if you're stuck in that kind of unpleasant situation. I don't know what that Waffle is doing. I really wanted that kill. because you have the alpha damage, if you just wait a little while and you get those shots on, and even if you make some trades, and I definitely made some unwise trades that game, you can still pull 4,000 damage out. And just to kind of contrast things, their Waffle only did 3 shots of damage sniping there. And I guarantee if their Waffle had played a little bit more aggressive, he would have been a huge pain for me there. He would have farmed my team out. And that's the difference between sitting in the back and sniping with a Waffle and using a Waffle more aggressively. Now, this is a, generally speaking, very good sniping map. And I'm trying to consider my options here. So the enemy team have a lot of heavies, 3 mils to be exact, and a 252U, a couple of tank destroyers, and a Sent 7 Mark 1. My opportunities are open in the air. I could sit in the generic TD bushes, or I could go above B. Both options I think would be fine, but just to make my point, instead of sitting in any of the generic sniping positions in the Waffle, since I'm top tiered, I'm going to push onto the heavy side. Now, I would, generally speaking, in most scenarios, sit above B and try to get early shots off. But I did say in this video, I'm going to try and show you how to play the Waffle more aggressively, so that's what we're going to do here. Do I recommend playing it this aggressive on a map like this? Probably for most players not, but I feel like I could probably pull it off if I'm patient enough. Now, right off the bat, none of the enemy's heavy tanks have been spotted up, and that's a pretty good sign that they're all above B going C, and that is what appears to be happening right now. They already have tanks on C, so if we are kind of fast enough here, we might be able to catch some vehicles off guard, maybe pick up a kill on someone. There is a Borsig. Let's pick up a nice kill shot on that Borsig there. I think he must have got blind fired. I don't know if he spotted earlier. Maybe he was. But there we go. You know, if I was sitting in that bush, I would not have had shots on the Borsig. So right off the bat, playing more aggressively did work out there. And I think I might be a little bit more aggressive towards the enemy spawn now. We don't know what's holding their spawn, so we're going to take it easy. I'm going to see if I get spotted up here before committing. I've not been spotted. There's their mill too. That's their most deadly heavy tank, kind of already spotted up in the mid. I think there's probably going to be someone over in this bush, maybe? No, not quite, but there was a 252U pulling up. Let's pre-aim at the side of his turret. Nice 700 roll there, and we're going to push in on this ISU and try and pick up a kill on him, because I think he's pretty ISO with the mill over there and that 252U as well. And yeah, so here is the ISU 152. Now, we're going to want to be careful, because he could HE me for probably about 700-800 here if I'm not careful. So let's pull back, get a nice little kill shot there. I did reverse, and that's just to show as low profile as possible. And playing aggressive has already worked out pretty well. We already farmed up about 2,000 damage this game, so not at all bad. There's an Emil here. I wonder if he's going to pull forward. Not quite. That's fine. And it looks like there's another Emil crossing through the mid. We're going to pop our accuracy consumable. That's because I feel like I might get an HE shot here in just a moment. So there's the back of his turret. Ah, 400. Not quite able to get the full HE there, but still not the worst, you know, 400 damage. We're going to pull up here because I think our Jagdtiger is about to get pushed on by an Emil as well. So we're going to try and pre-aim. I should have activated my adrenaline. By not activating it there, I wasn't ready for that shot, but we do get a shot in the scent there. So that's a good start. Now, the moment our Jagdtiger dies, those guys are going to be hauled down and poking me, and that's definitely not ideal. I don't think this Emil is going to full commit, but I think he probably will try and poke out to shoot me, or maybe the scent will. So let's put a shot in towards the Centurion here. We're just going to hold down low for the moment, because my friendly Emil here is going to be a good meat shield. And yeah, that's not too bad, actually. It's not too bad. I think with our Emil shooting them from there, this Emil is going to pull forward in just a moment, and when he does that, he's going to give me a nice little side shot. We're getting a nice side shot into him there, 600 with a fire. That's a good start for me. He is still burning up, and I think now is my opportunity to push on behind this tier 9 Emil, who's definitely the more dangerous Emil here. So let's pick up a nice kill shot on his tank. Good stuff. Score is 3-3. We're going to pull away from the Centurion and the 252U here, as well as the other Emil. That would not be a good fight for me to take. However, if this Emil pulls forward, we will be able to put a nice shell into the side of his tank here. Do get a nice shot there. Good stuff. We've picked up all of the kills so far, and we're just going to keep moving. We're on 5,000 damage, and my gosh, we have had a pretty solid game, I would say, for the most part. We're going to kill the Centurion. He is the tier 9 on the enemy's team, so we kind of want to prioritize him. He does go down, actually, so no problem. Let's pick up a kill shot on this Emil. We're going to pull back so we don't get HE clipped by the other Emil there. We should be safe for now. This cavalry is just YOLOing the 252U. He might bounce though. Yeah, big surprise. It is a 252U's armor profile. So we're going to push on to the back of the 252U's turrets. We've dealt 6,000 damage, 5 kills. I mean, this is another great example of what I'm talking about when I say, hey guys, you can use these tanks more aggressively. In fact, the decision there to push A instead of sitting at the back of the map and sniping is the only reason why I did so much damage this game. If I was trapped there, getting out would have been very difficult, and getting any kind of damage would have been equally as difficult. So that push there was probably the best decision I made this entire game. Now I'm going to be very aggressive here, and that's because if I get this max roll on this Emil here, that's going to put me at just about 7,000 damage, and I do want that 7,000 damage mark, so let's get a nice shot onto him. He is now reloading his magazine, so we're just going to YOLO in here and try and pick up this kill. I mean, and this was a great example, guys. Do not underestimate the Waffle, and most importantly, do not underestimate the Waffle as a second line support tank. I was quite aggressive there. No sniping, and because of that, we did 7,500, almost 7,600 damage. Hardcore carrying the team there, and I think these were just great examples of what this tank is capable of in the right scenario, and please take it to mind. Now, if you were really comfortable sniping and you don't feel comfortable being aggressive, then don't do it. But I'm just saying, if you really try and teach yourself more aggressive gameplay and how to be more flexible in the Waffle, you'll get games like this much more often. So thank you so much, guys, for watching today's video. Please feel free to like the video and subscribe for more content to come. You guys are awesome, and I'll catch you all another day.